Create Studios podcast 52. I think this is 52. Haiile Baraka 2. How you doing?
Part two.
Part duh. One of my more favorite personalities to bring back on. We always have some great topics to talk about. There's been a lot of stuff that's been going on. How about you? How's life with Hailie?
Life is good. You know, I'm just working in my real estate career now because last time I was still in school. So now I'm a property manager with the company. And my boss is like my mentor, so she's really trained me to take over the company. So it's hella dope.
I've been looking into property management because, you know, I have the studio, but I've been looking at other means of income. So someone was like, you know, you could become a property manager and live for free at the apartment. And I'm like, what? I'm like, I would totally like, because, you know, the studio makes money. So I'm like, I would totally do something like that. So I actually have been looking on Indeed at rental property managers and just lying, saying that I have experience, but I don't have any experience.
I mean, you don't necessarily have to have the experience because I didn't have any experience coming on, but you do need a license to do a lot of the things.
Okay. So to manage an apartment complex, are you going to need that? Or?
Not necessarily. You do, in my understanding, you do to receive a commission. So I get commissions on every lease I sign.
On the apartment?
Yeah, any apartment.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But they're coming. You didn't necessarily find these people, right? They just coming in because they saw the apartment. And
I do find the people really truly because I set up the showings for the units. So like whenever we have a vacancy, after they turn it over and make it nice again, like I make the appointments to show people the apartment. I process the applications. I deal with everybody. So. It's like sales, but it's renting. So you're still getting a commission off every close that you do, which is a closing would be the same thing as like a lease signing, pretty much.
That's interesting. I never knew they made money. Time out. Is the red light blinking in there?
Red light. 5-minute, 54-second icon on top.
Hold on. Let me just check this real quick. So I can make a whole podcast and then not have video.
I'm screaming.
Let me just see this.
That would be awkward.
Yeah, that red light in the corner. Or you want to just keep going?
We can keep going.
All right, great. So yeah, rental property. There's a lot of jobs on it. Actually, one of the employers hit me back and was just like, "Yo, there's like 50 applications ahead of you right now," and I'm just like, "Oh, okay. Well, you can go ahead and take me out of the running then, because I don't really even need this job. I have a business, so I'm just probably using this as a skit to get fired." But tell me, what's that life like? So that's in the real estate venture, right?
Yeah, so like my boss, she's been in real estate for like 30 years, but in all different parts of real estate. So she's done like mortgages and loans, she's done selling with a broker, she's done everything. So she likes property management best because it's recession proof for one.
Right.
Because everybody's always going to be renting. But when the economy's down, nobody's buying houses. So that's why like you see a bunch of posts about how there's so many new real estates, but nobody's closing anything because we're going into a recession, I'm pretty sure.
Right. The housing market is getting bad. No one's selling their house. So that means apartment rentals are going to go up, right?
Yeah, exactly. And they don't even have to go up, but there's everybody's always gonna have to rent. Somebody's always gonna need a place to rent.
And this is in Sacramento that you're working out of, right?
No, it's in Marin.
Oh, it's in Marin. Okay.
My office is in Marin. Most of the properties I manage are Marin, but we do Marin and Sonoma County, and then some. Well, I guess San Francisco is Marin technically.
Okay.
So.
And so what's going on out there? Like, are people getting evicted a lot because they're not coming up with the rent? Can you talk about that?
It's pretty. Well, you know, California has its laws where you can't really evict people because of their rent.
That's weird.
So
right?
really, people will just run up like a tab of rent that they owe. Then when they get to that point, then you can like take legal action about it.
That's got to be scary for a property owner to have someone sit on your property, right?
Yeah.
And go through the term, because I think it's like 6 months.
Our leases are a year.
Right, but I'm saying like to the point where you don't stop paying your rent. I think
it's like I think it depends on like how much your rent is for one. I think, but yeah, it's a certain amount of months. I'm not sure what it is because we haven't had much of that since I came on. I just started this in October, so I'm still learning everything because I got my real estate license. I did real estate school, but there's no really course specific to property management when you do your real estate school. There's electives like I'm gonna take eventually that are specific to property management, but what I learned in school like is just kind of the basis of it. There's so much
Talk a
more to
little
property.
closer,
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. Yeah, let me just get this in here. You just talk closer to it like that.
Okay.
So is that what you're trying to? Is that what you're? Because I've seen you on Instagram. You post the job and all that. It's very nice.
I know that everybody, or I feel like everybody's money's coming to a halt just because
people are holding on to it.
Yeah. Like, you just don't see everybody flashing everything they were, like, a couple years ago.
Yeah, wow, you're right. I've seen a lot less flashing on Instagram. The P2P loans.
Yeah, well, yeah, for sure the PPP loans, that was definitely a time.
Did your business feel the surge when all that stuff was going down?
Well, I wasn't with...
Felt it. Oh, you weren't with them at the time?
Okay. I wasn't with them at the time. I was going to school then, so...
Yeah, when the P2P loans hit, we were extremely busy. It was wild. Like, I haven't heard from clients. I haven't heard from them in a long time. And they were willing to pay double just to get. I was like, what the hell? You guys are never willing to pay double. Like, what's going on out there? So
I know my boss did say it was harder to get people that want to work during that time.
I do see that right now.
Like, the beginning of COVID and just even the last few years in general, like, she's definitely said that it's hard to find people to work because a lot of people are getting money different ways.
Yeah, they're scamming.
So, yeah,
right now. I know a lot of my clients are scamming. They're scamming like crazy.
For sure.
I remember my guy back in the day, Hus, told me about how when Instacart first started, he's like, when these apps first start, you can just scam the hell out of them. And I'm like, well, what were you doing? So I guess with Instacart, he, you shop for people. I don't know if you know about the Instacart app. So you shop for people, and he'd have this thing where they give you a card to go buy the groceries, right? But he would use the card before he started buying groceries. He would buy gift cards and load them up. And I'm like, aren't you afraid of getting caught? And he's like, when you sign up for Instacart, like the first year, they didn't even ask for an ID. Really? All they wanted was an email address. So you're like, what?
That's crazy.
So they don't know who the hell he is.
That's insane.
He racked up thousands upon thousands of dollars.
That's wild.
Yeah, and I see he kind of taught me, and I'm not gonna lie. Like, I was like, whoa, this is. Wow, I tried it out. I mean, I killed a couple times. Come get me, I don't care. But it was like, I mean, it wasn't that much money, but it was interesting to see scams kind of being took into. You know, because they're very prevalent now.
Yeah, there's
an art
there's
to
a bunch.
it.
There's so much you could do.
There's an art to it, yeah. So are you looking to sell homes like soon, or like?
Yeah, so because my boss, the company, she's a broker. She has a broker's license, so technically I'm working under a broker. So yeah, I'm able to sell and buy and represent people under her.
That market is very tough.
Yeah, so like I'll probably start with like friends and family because I do have friends and family that are looking to sell and buy houses in the near future. So I'm gonna start with them for sure.
Yeah.
And have her kind of just be there walking me through it. Like, she's really like my mentor, like I said. So she'll do it with me, and then once I feel comfortable, then I can just do it on my own underneath her.
It's a complete lifestyle, though. It takes time to build, like the studio took. It took like years to build a clientele base. Is that how it is in the real estate game? Because I see a lot of people becoming a real estate agent, obviously, because it seems like there's a lot of money in it.
It seems like there's a lot of money in it, but it's so much time before you reach that big ass bag that everybody thinks it's gonna be from jump.
Right.
Like, and that's why I was really like, I didn't really expect to get into property management. But when I got my license, I went home that day and just applied to hella places with my license. And like, I was so gassed to be able to put that on Indeed and be like, yeah, I have a license. I'm like,
That's huge.
I'm educated.
That's
so
huge,
like,
yeah.
I was gassed. And she hit me up within like a day. And I interviewed with her the next week. And she was more nervous that I wasn't going to come back than I was to like work with her.
Why is that? Because
she's had a lot of people just come and either only work for a couple of days. That's what she was saying. Like, it's hard to find people that actually want to work now just because
you have to work and not necessarily get promised to get paid from it.
Well, no, property management, I get paid hourly.
Okay.
And I get hourly plus my commissions. That's why I'm very happy. I'm very blessed that that's what I got into, because a new real estate agent that just goes straight to a sales broker, like, they're not going to make money till their first sale.
Right. That's what kind of what I wanted to talk about, is those people. That's gut wrenching.
Yeah. And it's just like, so when I'm renting to people or when I'm showing places, like, I'm not pressed if they don't want to rent it. I'm still getting hourly just for being there.
Yeah, not most people are, though.
And I get good hourly. So it's like, I'm not you don't hear me begging anybody to rent something. Like, I'm
Right.
trying to convince you, but it's like, if you genuinely don't want it, I'm not gonna press you too hard about
Right.
it.
There's different sales tactics that are used, and I'm sure you're coming off kind of more genuine about it. Like, I don't care if you rent it because someone else will.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't say all that.
I mean, but
it's
that's a
like,
tactic that I see realtors use. Like, well, if you don't rent it, I got a lady here named Christine, and it's okay. Like, she's
well,
probably
yeah,
gonna
I
come.
actually like. I do have those situations sometimes, like where someone says, "Oh, I want it," but they're
Yeah.
kind of, I guess, lagging or
Yeah,
just
totally.
not being wishy-washy about it. Then I'll be like, "Oh, well, somebody else wants to rent it, so you need to make up your mind."
Yeah, people are fucking wishy-washy.
So
No, I think it's a sales tactic, though. When you're talking about sales, people ultimately don't know what they want. When you talk to a lot of salespeople that are successful, they all go, well, you convince the buyer because they're going to make stupid purchases anyway.
yeah.
And you kind of realize, you go, whoa, is that me?
And you
Like,
gotta be
do I make-
careful too, because like legally, you gotta be careful when you're just convincing someone or
Really?
I guess using the word convince to me sounds like you're telling them whatever you can for them to buy
Positive
it.
points about the sale, right?
But I just,
I mean,
I
'cause
feel like
ads
that's
do-
wrong. But
why
I
do you
guess
have to be
real estate
careful?
agents are like that. I just feel like it's
Because
wrong.
advertisements do weird shit, and they say this car is going to better your life. It's not going to better your life. It's going to give you a hindrance every month of $500 or more.
You're right.
Like, it's not going to better your life.
Mm-hmm. But I
yeah.
mean, yeah, I guess you do gotta oversell anything like that. Like, oh, when you move into this house, like you're gonna be able to have all these beautiful big parties. Like you could do this, that, and the other. So yeah, there is that. I just feel like if you're trying to sell a dump, don't sit and say that it's gonna do this, that, and the other to change
Yeah,
somebody's
so
life.
that's kind of an art selling a dump.
Yeah.
Right, because there's nice properties, and I see how they get sold. Because a lady that's very tall and pretty, she goes, "Oh, the environment is great here. Like, there's like a psychiatrist that moved in there, and there's a guy
Right.
from Facebook in there."
Or like the
and-
first property I rented was a house in Tiburon. So it's like that damn near just sold itself because one, it was really cheap rent for Tiburon, but it's a nice property. It's a nice ass property.
Tiburon's a nice place, right?
It is. It's
Yeah.
honestly, it's very not cultish. It's just very like the guy that ended up moving in. He was just like, well, it's hard to get into Tiburon unless you know people usually.
Really?
And I was just like, okay. And driving around, like, honestly, Tiburon low-key gives me Get Out vibes. But it's
Get
just...
Out vibes?
Yeah,
Like
like
the
the movie
movie
Get,
Get
Out.
Out?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just weird. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, Susanville does that for me.
It's just weird. I've never been to Susanville.
Oh, you would get out. I remember like there's nothing there. It's just broken down homes. And I remember when I stopped at the first gas station in the middle of like a forest. The people were so methed out looking. I was just like, oh my god.
Well, see, when I think of Get Out, I think of all these, like, bougie white people
oh
where,
yeah,
like...
yeah, got you. Very upscale.
Just they, like, their life is just so perfect. And, like... I don't know.
Yeah.
It was just, but it just seemed almost
Walnut
cultish.
Creek's
Like
like that
everyone,
to me.
yeah. I haven't been to Walnut Creek
You don't
enough.
go to Walnut Creek?
Not enough. I don't really know nobody that
Okay.
lives in Walnut
People,
Creek.
club
So
in
like,
Walnut Creek. People that I know in Oakland go to a club in Walnut Creek. It's weird.
I think I've gone out to eat a couple times in Walnut Creek, but I don't like hang out there. I don't know it well enough.
Yeah.
I'm in Marin. Like I'm driving around Marin all day at work.
What's Marin like?
Bougie. It's Money County for sure. It's expensive. It's where a lot of celebrities like live in the cuts.
Valeo's by Marin. No.
Kind of. I mean, it's like 30-minute drive down 37.
Because Turf is like one of my guys from Marin, but he's also from Vallejo.
It's all 707.
707.
Yeah.
Got you.
Or Marin's technically 415. So.
Because it's north of Frisco.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've been following a lot lately on social media. I mean, I know we talked off air and you don't know about it, but there's this guy who's recently been getting a lot of press on social media. It's funny you haven't heard about him. His name is Andrew Tate.
I've heard his name, but
Yeah.
I just don't know who he is, like what he's popular for. Like I just.
Oh, I can tell
I've
you the
never
run. So
kept
I
up
didn't
with
really
him.
know anything about him either until I guess they reinstated his Twitter account. Elon Musk reinstated his Twitter account, and I got to kind of dive in to see who Andrew Tate was. Apparently, he's this guy. He's kind of like a life seller, you know? Like he sells this program called Hustlers University,
Okay.
where you can make you pay $50 a month, and he teaches you like stuff about crypto or how to sell on Amazon, or so he's out there trying to just giving advice. But he makes super misogynistic statements,
Like on Twitter?
On Twitter, Instagram,
Okay.
and he actually got booted off Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. So since you don't know too much about him, I was going to ask you about his opinion, but you don't know about him, so I'm just going to tell you about him. But it's just kind of funny how he's going around out there. This guy is fucking nuts. Like, he says crazy shit. I am not gonna lie. Some of it doesn't sound so crazy. Like, maybe that's just me being a man. I'm just like, well, that makes sense. But he's definitely like almost anti-feminine. I can't even say he's anti-feminine. But have you heard anything about Andrew recently?
I mean, I heard about him and his brother getting in trouble for like
human trafficking.
Yeah, I saw that.
And that was weird because that was just off some Twitter beef that he had this girl named Greta, and I don't know who Greta is, but apparently Greta was just going after him about him having a small penis because I guess this guy only talks about like he goes on Twitter and says, I have 33 cars and they're all high emissions. He just says like weird shit.
I'm weak.
And he was like, that's why he kind of has me. He's like, I guess he had beef with Greta, and Greta's very like earth, human, conservation. She's like, order me 10 pizzas and make sure all the boxes are non-recyclable.
Oh my god. Okay, so he's just like a troll on Twitter.
He's a troll. He's a very good troll. But troll works, you know.
That's
it's
what
just
gets
funny.
people popular on social media when they troll.
I was super curious to hear your opinion about it, but since you don't know, but maybe if you go listen to it, we can talk about it.
Yeah, I'm about to look at his Twitter.
He has very, very feminist, like anti-feministic views.
Yeah, what did you say he said about like OnlyFans?
Oh, so there's this famous clip going around, and he's attacking women that say, I don't need a man in my life. But then he goes, but you're on OnlyFans talking about you don't need a man in your life when all your subscribers are men. And OnlyFans was made by a man. And the car you're driving to go get your groceries was made by a man. And the road was paved by a man. And he's like, when shit gets fucking real, this is what I want to ask you about. So when shit gets fucking real, women drop all that that feminine shit, you know, and they go look for a man that's strong. And just you and being a very positive, affluent female who's very confident in herself, you know, I was gonna ask your opinion about that. Like, is that
wait? So he said that women throw what out?
Women throw this femininity out, like they don't need a man, but in reality, like there's, you know, like society's kind of running this way by men. And so I was gonna ask you about that, but you have to go look at the clip because if you don't know the clip, then it's kind of tough to like speak. But I was gonna have you speak on it. Yeah, speak on it. Like have it. Hold on, I can find it for you too.
Yeah, pull it up because I want to see what it says.
And we'll just mute this so
you can like play it or like show the clip or something.
Yeah, we're gonna mute this part. Yeah, this one. This is. This is an ad that's gonna play, but this clip is famously viral going around, and I was like, I'm gonna ask TNT. And
Alright, guys, so I stumbled across this pretty fascinating,
wait,
but very
hold
good
on.
points here.
Oh, this guy is talking about it. Hold on, tape. Maybe it's this one. Right here.
Do y'all have any more water
Yeah. Do you have any waters?
in here?
Can you ask Brock if she has any waters in there?
I appreciate that.
Some of my clementine. She's gonna feel better. So I'm gonna get a clementine. Would you like some clementine, my dear?
I'm sure. I think for me, it's like.
I'll ask you a question.
Yeah, I would love some.
You want some clementine?
Yeah.
We're gonna hook it up. Okay.
That's him, right?
Yeah. Hold on.
Go on, continue.
Okay. My thing is like, why not have transparent?
Listen, no, good. No man in a million years. Let's all be realistic, right? No man in a million years is gonna feed me a girl he likes and go, I want to be polyamorous. Like, come, let's get. Find resources. So
Yeah.
that's a good way to start. So sexual exclusivity is how the world and most of the world today. If you go to Moscow and you find there's so many boxes. Find a man who's gonna look after you and take care of you. You're gonna be his queen. He's gonna be loyal. You can find that all day, but you're gonna have to settle to a degree where a lot of women perhaps are not prepared to do that.
Okay.
You see how women act. They'd rather chase a fraction of a real G's time than have 100% of the time of a fucking dude.
That's not
They
it.
don't respect that.
Watch this fluff. Hold on.
No, you're good.
But it's what's messed up.
Any respect in the name of a permission. The man is at a complete top level of his life. Be the way the world functioned in like the 90s, the 80s, the 70s.
So like, if he knocks up another girl, would you do it?
All right. Make him not want to cheat. Be perfect. From a few thousand to billions of it, because that's the only way to ensure paternity. She's a virgin. I know that's my baby. She ain't a virgin. Proves mine. If my woman replies to a man,
I guess I can't find it, but it's just she's just he's just going on about how there's femininity out
Basically,
there where they feel like they don't need a man.
But then
He's just like, no, you guys need man. Everything's built around men. How do you feel about the whole thing about? Okay, well, you don't really know what he said. I'm not gonna ask that because that's a bad question. But anyway, that viral's going around. Did you get her water? There's no water. Young, is there any waters? Young, he's gonna get you a water.
I appreciate you.
Yeah. So Andrew Tate's just a troll, and he's going around talking about how people, females that are very strong into being females, they need a man. But it's just what he said about it that was just kind of crazy, and I'm just like,
The way he worded it,
the way he worded it was just a little wild, and it was just like, I don't necessarily agree with it, but I'm not gonna lie, I agree with certain parts, but I'm just like, I'm at this point where society is at this stage where no one needs each other. Like, I just got broken up and I literally said, like, I don't need you. And it's true. Like, men don't need women.
You don't need somebody to go on with life. Like,
yeah. So like, he's always like, you need a man to do this. Like, I need a man too. Like, fuck. Like,
I'm weak.
I'm not gonna go pave a fucking road.
Screaming.
You know what I mean? Like, there's certain things that men do, but men don't do all things. So we all need services. I don't know if we necessarily need a man. I'm not trying to like diss out my whole gender here, but I kind of just don't agree with that. Like, and it serves too. Like, do men need women? I don't know if that's necessarily true. It seems like they don't, especially in the Bay Area. I mean,
I think.
What do you think?
At least with the men that I do with my brothers, everybody, men are just be slow. Like, I think they need a good girl in their life just because the way that men articulate stuff sometimes is just
Which men
so
need a good
slow.
girl? The men that date a lot of women and are promiscuous and have that feel, right? Because
see, I don't know. Because it's
good
like
girls don't present themselves well.
that's
Like,
true
it's
too.
always the toxic ones that get right in your face and let you know it's a good time.
Yeah, like,
Right?
so when you say like, oh, women say they don't need nobody, but then they do, or need no man, but then they
it's
do.
truth to both sides, right?
Yeah, like, I just feel like, a lot of women say they don't need a man, but then when a man comes around, he has to be able to do this, that, and the other before they could talk to them.
Ooh, that's thank you for the gold nugget there. Hold on. So
Like-
you're saying women don't need a man, right? But it has to be the right kind of man to come around, and they're going to give those man parameters and certain rules that he has to do in order to play ball.
Yeah, and it's just like, to a degree, that's fine. I think it's fine to have standards. I have standards, but I can reciprocate everything I ask for. A lot of girls just, you got to be able to do this, and that for me, but I just have to be like passenger seat princess.
Right.
And I can't stand that.
But that's very common. Wow, I never heard that term, passenger seat princess. So,
like, just riding and not doing nothing for him, I guess. Like,
right. We can share life, but not where I'm actually helping you out or you need me.
yeah, like,
That's weird. Because I'm not gonna lie, relationships these days, it gets like the era that I'm from. You prove how deep the relationship is off what you're willing to do for each other when it's not so Hollywood looking, right? But I feel like no offense, but the younger woman I'm dating, like, nah, you don't need me for that. Like, you know what I am. I'm like an arm piece, and you need to treat me like a queen.
yeah,
You know, and I don't want to necessarily be there to help you out with your bills or shit like that. Like, that's not what I'm looking for.
yeah.
And
See,
I get
like,
that. I kind of get that though.
I just can't. Like, I can't do it. I see people do it, and that's fine. I'm not
See
here
people
to judge.
do.
I see girls just want a man that can pay for stuff and
Take care of
make
that.
you feel special, but I don't see them do anything for them. Like, I don't mind going 50-50 with whoever I'm with, like,
Right.
on shit. Like, I
Right.
really don't. I don't mind paying for shit. Like,
Some women do.
yeah, and it's just like, I don't want to pay for everything. Of course, nobody does when they're with somebody.
I've been with women and it felt like I always had to pay, like when we went out. And I'm not gonna lie, like
if you're with somebody for a long time, I don't see, like, why that's such a requirement.
okay, this is refreshing to hear. Yeah, like
Like,
some
it's just-
women feel like a man needs to pay every time, but there are times when women, I mean, I can even feel it, like when a woman feel like she has to pay, they're almost like judging the situation, like, well, are you on top of your shit or whatever? But then some women are just down to build, and
I mean, you
go
can tell
half
if
from the
someone's on their
get.
shit without them having to pay for everything for you. Like, you can see what they got going in their life
Yeah,
and be able to tell based off that, not necessarily based off just what you can do for me.
right.
Because, like, me, I care more about how you make me feel because I do everything for myself just fine.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's how most women feel these days.
but
Right?
Because
men feel like
wrong with
there's certain men that don't have game.
caring more about how someone makes you feel than what they can do for you.
Right. A lot
Like,
of
I
men
don't
with
think
no
that's-
game are caught up in that. They need to be the provider. They need to be the taker care. And I try to like spill a lot of game. Like, no, you don't. Women don't need you for that these days. Like, women are getting better pay and more equal pay. They're still fighting for it, but they don't necessarily need you in that man sense. So you almost have to define what she actually is looking for. Because I feel like girls now are.
I mean, I respect a man that's a provider, but it's just like, I'm not gonna be no stay-at-home mom really ever.
Right.
Like, I like working. I like having my own shit.
Yeah.
So
Do guys certain approach you in that way? Like, hey, when it gets to a point, you know?
no, I have
Okay.
not gotten to that point with nobody for real. I feel like, I think, no, I haven't really gotten to that point with anybody.
That's
like,
good.
I've
Then
been
you're
with
choosing
anybody
back.
long
You're
enough.
choosing appropriately.
Yeah, like I feel like my last like situation, I feel like he was on that, and that's why he got so stressed out all the time because he was going through whatever he was going through.
Right.
But I don't know. I don't really think that I've gotten to that point with anybody because I just haven't been with anybody long enough, really.
Got you.
Not in a long time, at least.
Right. You're very weird with relationships.
Me? I know.
Well, you
I
haven't
am
had that
weird.
many,
Like I just
right?
either like I just don't.
You
Talk
haven't
to
had
people.
that many. Or you
No.
have.
I haven't had hella relationships,
Right.
honestly. Like I've talked to people here and there. Like I text people, and then I don't really like. It's hard to get a link out of me.
know
That's what it
exactly
is.
what
Like,
that- yeah, I
and for
get
one,
it.
I be working a lot, and it's just like I'm not gonna fuck up my sleep schedule for nobody during the
feel
week.
like women, you're younger, because I've dated like a couple different generations now. So it's like women that are younger now, you feel that like they're willing to work. They're not willing to be as clingy. You know what I mean? I guess it just depends on who you're talking to, but like
I can be clingy, like if I really like you, but it's
women
just
in their
far and
30s,
few.
women in the 30s. Well, I guess it just depends on who you date. It really just depends, because I've had women in their 30s that were more clingy, which is not a bad thing. But I don't know. I felt like younger girls these days are just not clingy at all. Like they're more willing to be like F off, or I can do my own.
I think it
thing.
depends here and there, cause like it just depends. Like I have friends that are lover girls, like they love being with their mans all
They're
the time.
old schools.
And I have my other friends that are just boy crazy, so
Yeah.
they feel good with whatever boy they're
Yeah.
with, or
That's
just
good too.
yeah.
I mean, it's
I'm
good
not
to
here
experience a
judge.
lot
I have
of-
different friends that are different. For one thing, I know like all my friends, I don't condone cheating. Like they'll talk to me about it, and I just kind of like. I don't really want to hear
No,
about it
that's
that
cap.
much.
That's
No, I
cap.
swear to God, like I'll be like, oh, okay. Like my friend will be like, oh, like she'll tell me about a boy, but she like that's not her boyfriend. And I'll just be like, okay. Especially mainly if I know him, because then I can't look at him the same. Like I just like I can't.
Is it automatically
lie.
cheating if they're just with them, but there's more to it than that, right? Because there's no friends.
I be knowing there's more
no
to it.
friends, right? Like if they have
I
a
mean,
male
we have
friend.
guy friends. I have guy friends.
Okay.
I do. Like, and I've only ever messed with one of my guy
But
friends.
do you
and that
hang
was-
out with your guy friends when you're in a relationship?
Yeah. I mean,
See,
I haven't been in a
that's
relationship in a
tricky.
long time, and my last like situation relationship was one of my guy friends. So he was friends with the rest of my guy friends, and he knew like
That's tricky.
I.
You tell your
wasn't.
man that. You told your man I have a guy friend that I hang out with.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I only have like really like 2-3 guy friends that I kicked it with, like that, like by myself, just me and them kind of thing. Like we'll just
Right.
smoke or whatever.
Right,
like,
right,
and he
right.
was one of them. So he knew like the other one, like it was bad. Like that's never gonna happen. Same with the other one, like the other two, basically.
Okay, so he knows that there's not something there.
Yeah, like
That's really, I don't know if that's strange, but it's kind of weird hearing a
I think he knew
say
that.
they
Like
don't-
so, it's just like I think he was just secure with it, like because I'm not
For
cheating.
sure, yeah.
So yeah,
I think any man is insecure with that's a common thing.
no, he was secure with
Oh,
it.
he was
like
secure with it
yeah,
because he wasn't threatened.
yeah.
Maybe he was better
So-
looking than them. He knew that, and that was
I mean,
like,
yeah.
yeah.
But
See,
still,
when you're
like that
better,
don't
if the guy
matter.
was better
That
looking
don't
than your
matter. People
boyfriend.
still get insecure around ugly dudes too, like
True.
and their girl, like
That is absolutely facts.
that don't matter.
That is absolute fact. But it's just uncommon to hear a woman in the Bay Area say they don't condone cheating. It's actually refreshing.
I just think if y'all don't want to be together, don't be.
Yeah. That's the first question I felt like I asked in my last. Like, did you cheat?
Because you could stay single and still fuck with them and just tell them that you're single.
Yeah.
And fuck with them.
I'm all about. I don't get it, and I've told that to women that I
Right.
dated. I said, hey, at any point you just don't feel it no more. Like that could happen, right?
Yeah.
Like just tell me. It doesn't have to be this
Literally.
weird fucking thing where I promise you I would treat you a certain way. Shit fades. And
Yeah.
I'll tell her, I fade off and it's not that I don't care about you as much. It's just maybe I don't see the investment. Sometimes I have to lose the investment to know that I want it. So
Like, it's like,
Don't
I'll
act
have
weird.
friends where them and their boyfriend will cheat on each other, and they both know it. So it's just like, why are you together?
cheating is so
I
devastating.
don't understand it. Like, I just
Have you been cheated
it
on
can't
before?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have two. When it first happens, it's devastating. At least for me, I was like devastated.
I think in my situation at the time,
You were understanding about it.
I wasn't understanding. I was just
I
like,
talk fist away. Sorry.
sorry. I wasn't understanding. It's just like I was very young and dumb. Like, it was my
Right.
first relationship.
That's what you do when you're young. You make bad decisions.
And I was just like, I knew it, but I was just like, oh, it probably won't happen again because he lived with me.
You'd have to be really almost.
But,
unaware to
and
know.
I was going to keep him at the house. Like, that was going to change anything.
Oh, you lived together.
Yeah. It was my first boyfriend.
That's extreme cheating. Like when you live together. There's this
Yeah.
couple that lives next door to my apartment, and I always hear them fighting every morning.
Mhm.
Every morning about cheating.
I hear my neighbors arguing all the
Yeah,
time, too.
it's
That
all
shit be
about
cracking me
cheating.
up.
It's all
It's
about-
never about cheating. It'd be dumb
It's
shit.
about entertaining DMs. That's what I hear them fight.
Okay.
It's a big topic, though.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Guys do it.
I used to get mad because, like, I don't know, like, the streams on Snapchat. Like, my guy friends all keep those, like, streams with hella people. Like,
I don't know what that
hella
is.
people. It's, like, basically, like, on Snap, or streaks. Like, day streaks. Like, how many days you guys have Snapchat back and forth.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah,
I didn't know that's
and
a thing.
people like I remember all my guy friends like they always had hella streaks with hella people. They would get so mad like if I broke our streak, like they would literally send a picture
that
of
is-
nothing.
I have heard of
just
that.
to keep the streak going, and I was just like,
Yeah.
"Guys are so lame."
That's very
Like, okay.
smart. That Snap put that in as almost like a game feature. Like you got to keep up with the streaks.
Kind of,
you know?
yeah, because it keeps people on the app. Keep
And it makes you
using it
feel
every day.
connected with a bond with. Oh, we have a streak. Remember that 21
But they would just do it with
streak
random
we
people.
had?
They'd be like, "Oh, I don't talk to them that much. Like, I just have a streak with them." Like, who? Why do
That's
you need
weird.
that? It's just like I don't understand that.
I'm explaining
either,
from the
but
man's perspective.
I also don't have a
though.
Snapchat.
Maybe this sounds like I'm unmanly or something, but like it just feels like women get more attention through DMs with men than men do with women, and so
Oh, I'm sure.
right?
Because men are more
y'all-
thirsty. And girls are thirsty, but they're quieter about
They're
it.
so not thirsty as men. They're thirsty,
They're
right?
quieter
but they're
about
hella
it.
more subtle.
Yeah.
They're very like when a woman's trying to get at you, like she almost says like, "God, you're stupid," because you never like they just gave you all the signs and you never did anything. That's like an art.
That's like me. Like, I will message somebody first sometimes. But I'll
Rare.
like your
That's
story
rare.
that's like specifically about like like I'll like a meme
See, that's
like
tricky.
a
So liking
romantic
someone's
shit
story
or whatever.
means something. Just liking
I don't
someone,
know.
not
I mean,
always.
Not always, no. But like a lot of people take it a certain way. Like me, I don't really care.
I'm
if
so
you like my
confused 'cause
story.
a lot
I
of
mean, people
girls
like it.
like
I
my
mean, I
story.
notice it. Like,
Yeah.
I notice it.
What's fucked
But-
up is a lot of pretty girls like my story, but I can't be like the sleazoid and try to pan that out because I'm like I deal with so many people. I don't kind of want that rep. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't like, and I'm just kind of used to people fucking with me, but not necessarily like having any maybe attraction, or maybe they do. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, like there's
That's
a
how
couple
I
of
feel,
girls.
low key. Just like I see it, but it's just like I'm not gonna hit you up about it because you did it. So I understand why, like when I do it, that they don't hit me up about it. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's
because
just like-
it's like and you don't want to ruin the bond if it's a real friendship, right?
well, usually it's like people like niggas that I follow that I just find attractive that I've met in person
Yeah.
or that I've seen in person. Because I don't think nobody on Instagram is attractive based off their Instagram.
But that's so hard because there's certain guys you follow that like you like their story and you just like them for their lifestyle too, right?
yeah.
So that's difficult. like,
Or
it's
like, I mean,
what
what
is
do you
that?
mean lifestyle? Because
So,
it's just like
I feel like a lot
I've
of-
only shot my shot at people on Instagram that I've met in person. already.
Oh, okay.
That's what I mean.
And there
Like-
was some type of bond there when you did interact, right?
No, it's more of like I'm throwing the
see?
hint now.
How is that
I
a
guess.
hint? So is that a hint? That's not always a hint. See, like, I feel like certain girls just like my lifestyle. That's why they like the story.
But if you post something that's like,
right?
I don't even know.
Maybe
like,
I should be more sleazy. Hailey's gonna make me a little bit more sleazy in my next 5 years.
Like,
no, so you saying that should
when people
pan
like
out.
pictures of me, I'm just like, okay, that's
Well, that's
regular.
different because you're actually posting provocative pictures and that's like saying something.
Or just even
I'm
my
not pro.
face. Like, hella people will like my story if I post my face, and
Yeah.
that's just because. Like,
I imagine you're
good,
trying
that's
to get
regular.
those. Yeah.
But it's just like when you post something like, I guess like a meme that says something certain, like if I post a meme with my close
If
friends
someone
that
likes
says
that
something
story, you
like,
can't get anything out of that, right? There's nothing there.
but like
If it's a selfie,
I feel like in this, like I don't know how to explain it.
see, that's why it's such an art.
Yeah, it
right?
is.
It's
Yeah.
it's a nice dance. I mean, you gotta admit, it's a nice dance. So I do Uber, right? And so something they tell you is that you don't want to be the strong one getting at the girl, but they're not denying that it happens, right? So when you drive for Uber, they tell you like, if the girl gets at you, then it's okay, but you.
Oh, they give you like
They give you
precautions like that?
guidelines
Yeah,
on how
okay.
to get at people because they're like tell you ultimately you should never you
shouldn't be
know,
getting at
you shouldn't
people
be
that
getting
get in
at
your
your
car to
people that get
ride.
in your car and I get
Yeah.
that like and I've been
It's
told
creepy.
there's certain women
Or
that
it could
don't
be creepy.
very creepy I think right because you can put your daughter in a fucking car and there's
Right.
some 40-year-old in there
And
you
it's
know
just
what I
like,
mean
yeah.
and they don't know what you're you know what I mean
And there's all
because you're
the
looking
weird
back
Ubers
you
or
don't
the
you know
fake
you're
Ubers,
looking
so.
forward yeah they're back there so I just got hollered at the other day. But it was weird. It was just like, what? Like, but I could tell she was, because she did the elongated vowels, like, that's so funny. And I'm just like, that's a lot of vowels. Like,
Or she was just being hella extra.
Hella
I feel like
extra.
your jokes were just
When the-
hella extra funny.
usually a pretty girl will not talk. Like pretty
Yeah.
girls don't talk. They don't want to be talked to. They don't want to be anything. But the ones
They
that
just wanna
do,
get going,
they
yeah.
just they can tell. Like they'll ask you a question like, so do you always like driving? And I'm like, they were expecting you to say something. But I'm like, I'm not gonna be the aggressor because I'm just doing a service right now.
Yeah.
But it's such a weird because Uber was like on that line. Like it's
a
kind
weird gray
it's
area.
it's a gray area. And I'm like, y'all should have just said don't do it at all.
Yeah.
Like, don't even do it.
Don't even
like,
think about it.
don't
Like,
even, unless she like,
if she hits you
if
up
she
after,
throws you her
like-
number, you can take it, but don't
Right.
say anything verbal back because that's
Yeah.
just, you know. And I'm just like, have you ever taken an Uber or Lyft?
Yeah. For sure.
So what's that like? You ever see a cute guy and then you like?
Driving?
Yeah.
The Uber? No, not really.
Wow.
I've never had like.
I'm like the only one.
I mean, I don't really take Ubers
Like that.
hella often unless I'm traveling.
You would be creeped
Like,
out if the guy was
Yeah. I mean, I've had DoorDash people like get at me.
really.
Like in LA, like I remember one time he texted my phone after and he
Gotta
was
talk
just
this
like, I remember I had a DoorDash driver, Uber Eats or whoever like dropped food off to me in LA and then he texted me after. And
That's
he was
very.
just
That's
like,
not
oh,
appropriate.
like I don't remember what he said. He said something like,
I hope your food's warm.
no, like he said some like just dumb shit. He was just like, I don't even remember what he said, but it was just I was just like, oh, okay. I never answered him, but I was just like, that's interesting.
It's such an art.
So now
talking.
he know where I'm staying at
It's
while I'm
such
here.
it's such an art talking to the other sex. You know, just when you do it, how you do it.
Yeah.
It's just funny.
That's why I just hate dealing with people.
Pronouns. I see that going around a lot.
Yeah.
Instagram just asked me for my pronouns. I don't know how to feel about that. Like, if you're against pronouns, are you against transgender people? Are pronouns only meant for transgender people? I'm just asking. I don't know.
I literally don't know at this
Do you
point.
have pronouns?
I mean, my name's Haille, and I'm a girl.
That's not a pronoun.
Okay, well,
Her,
I just
she.
like, how am I supposed to like? They just make it up or like?
Yeah. Well, no, it's her, she, or they.
I mean, I'm not they. I'm not two people.
But they doesn't necessarily mean two people. You know what they means? And I'm going to break it down, right? Because I get this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say I'm in a group setting, and let's say you're there, and you're like...
I genuinely just don't understand the they and them concept.
So I'm going to explain they. 'Cause,
Okay.
like, someone explained they to me, and I didn't get they. Like, why would you say they? But I kind of get it, right? Like, let's say we were home, we were just hanging out, and like, oh, I got some people coming over, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you could say it pronoun wise, and it's going to change the spectrum, right? So if you say, oh, I got some girls coming over,
Okay.
Like, as a man, I'm gonna think, oh my God, Haille's friends, they're girls, or possibly single. That's a fucked up way of thinking about your friends because they could be married, right?
I mean,
they could be.
Not really.
Well,
I mean, you could think like
Well, I don't know, but like,
my guy friends love when I bring my friends around, whether they're
I
gonna be
bet.
single or not.
I bet.
So,
you go, well, she's coming, then we think about it a certain way. But if you go, well, they come in, even though it's one person, you can't even put association on it, right?
Right.
So if it's a girl, I've seen like me hanging out in my guys' room and they get all fucking weird when I say a girl's coming, like, oh, my homegirl's coming. What? Oh, but I gotta get right. They don't even know who this female is.
Okay.
Right? And they're getting ready, right? Because they know they might have to. And then let's say the girl comes and it's not something they were expecting. It's just like, she's whatever. Just they're not attracted to her, and they just go, they go, oh.
Right.
Like, what was all that? You know what I mean? Like, so if you go, instead of saying my homegirls, I'm going, hey, they coming.
Mm-hmm.
You knowing they could now mean one or two, but they coming. It doesn't tell you anything. Doesn't say he's coming or she's coming. So I see.
So that's like someone that don't know what they are.
I don't know. It's
decide?
just, I guess, like, you don't want people that have issues with gender have issues with identity and being appropriated for. That's what I feel like I understand it. They don't want to necessarily feel like you have to get ready for a female or even interact with her in that way, saying she's a she, but then you actually just thinking she's a female, right? Like, because she might not have female tendencies, like you might want to treat her like a lady, but she's hella tomboyish. You're like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, just treat me like a regular person.
But I still don't get the they and them when someone says they want to be referred to as they or them.
You mean in the plural sense, going plural and non-plural, right?
Well, they and them, they're both plural
right.
words.
So you're on the fact that
when I say they're coming, they are coming.
Right.
That's more than one person.
You want to see more than one person come. So how do you say someone's coming?
Or I guess, I guess it works with one person because I'll be like, oh, they're on the way.
They on the way.
But I feel like that's not grammatically
so you could be like,
correct,
they on the
technically.
Way. Like, where's Tanisha? They on the way.
I mean,
but they does mean plural. You're right. It does mean plural. But I guess also that there's no pronoun to say that a genderless person is coming. Okay. Right, so that's so that's what I know. It's confusing. I'm not backing any of this up. I'm trying to understand it, right? I'm trying to have you understand it with me. So, when I could be like, he's coming, or I got a friend, I got a podcast guest. I'm like, okay, you got a podcast? Yeah, he's coming. It tells you a lot.
Yeah,
like,
it's a guy.
It's a guy.
Right.
You gotta keep your guard up. Maybe
so
he might hit on you. He might not. It might be my friend. It's a guy though, but the guy walks in and he's gay. Then your guard goes down a little bit, right? Like, oh, okay, I thought you were a guy.
Right.
So I get it. Like, I don't want people saying some Asian guy's coming through, right? Like, why'd you tell them that, bro? Why are they asking me Asian shit?
Screaming.
Because I said an Asian guy was coming. Like, you just gotta say a guy's coming through. You don't gotta bring up the whole Asian shit. Bro, why are you doing that to me? That's how it made me feel about it.
Okay.
Like. So I feel pronouns in that sense, and I only feel them in that sense. I feel like if I say she's coming, you see my guy getting all ready, but it's like a butch girl, and so she didn't.
I guess I just don't really have a preference onto what I'm called because I know that I'm a girl and I'm she, and I don't really run into people mistaking that.
Yeah.
So.
You haven't seen anyone or met anyone that got offended off of it, or?
Oh yes, I've definitely met people and dealt with people that got offended off of it.
Really?
Or like, I'm not always politically correct when I speak. Like sometimes I don't know what the fuck to say. Like if they do decide that they want to go by they them, I don't know that. Like if I look at you and you look like if I think it's a boy, like I don't like saying it's like oh my god. See,
so that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. The it, you call it an it, and they don't like it.
That's what, so
right?
that's that too.
That takes you
but
out
it's
of being
just
a
like
human being. Like when you call.
I don't mean to be offensive. Like
well,
I don't care what you do, but I just don't know sometimes what to say, and it just sucks.
But race helps you almost understand, right?
To a degree, but it's not the same thing.
It's not the same thing. I'm not saying it's the same thing at all. But they generalize it as the same thing.
I know.
If you talk to them, I'm like, that's not the same thing. Like,
Yeah,
you
they're like
chose to
blacks
be
are
that.
discriminated
They
against.
can't help who they are.
Exactly.
And there's a history of that persecution. There's a history of persecution here, but
Mm-hmm.
you cannot
Yeah,
really
yeah.
help who you are in this state. You can change or identify
Right.
whatever you want, and you're using the same rules, which is kind of
Different.
messed up. Yeah.
Mhm.
So anyway, I didn't know how to go about that. I felt like we treaded lightly over that, but that was right. Like you calling them it.
It's
you
just
know?
like, yeah, I don't know what to say sometimes. So it's just like, I don't mean to sound offensive, but I have offended people. Or like,
Do you have gay friends?
yeah.
So when it's a girl that likes girls, what do you say? Like, you say she's coming over?
A girl that likes girls,
Yeah,
like just a
like-
lesbian chick.
yeah, right.
Most of my friends are a little lesbian, or they are lesbian.
Or they're
So
both,
it's just
they're
like,
bi.
yeah, girls
Yeah.
coming over. I mean, I don't have to explain to you what kind of who they like to fuck. Like when they're coming over, like it's just my friends coming over. Like
Right. No, I totally get it.
I mean,
Trust
and even
me.
if they're like a stud, I have stud friends. Like my homegirls coming over. Studs that I know don't refer to themselves as men. They're just girls that dress up like guys more
so
so.
they don't want to be called a homegirl.
Mm-mm.
Interesting. I don't know.
I guess
that.
I don't really have any
I want to know.
necessarily transgender friends. I have gay friends, like girls and guys. I have some guy friends that kind of like dress more girly.
But that's not
but-
necessarily transgender. No.
Exactly. So no, I don't really necessarily have any transgender friends.
Yeah,
But
that's
I have
a
a bunch
tough
of gay
one.
friends.
Because there are gay men that do dress feminine, but don't necessarily put on a skirt, but very tight clothing.
or like crop tops and stuff like
see-throughs,
that,
the
or like
fishnet shirts.
Yeah,
I've
like
seen
in-
a straight guy wear a fishnet shirt. So
Yeah.
that's a tough one.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I definitely got gay friends, and I just when they come over, they come around. I don't feel the need to describe what their sexuality is just because they're sliding. I don't know. I feel like that's something really random to bring up. I mean, I guess like if I'm with my brother and I'm like, oh, this girl's coming over, but you can't fuck with her. She likes girls.
What were some of the other talking
That's more for my thirsty brothers that I gotta let them know before she comes. Or that's the same thing. I would let them know if she's single or not before she comes.
But you have brothers then,
Yeah,
and they're thirsty.
yeah.
Okay, so I don't have a sister, but I felt like if I had a sister,
They're my brothers are like my guy friends that I grew up with, those three.
they help you understand men, do they not?
They help me understand men like them. They're not grown. Like they just have still this super young mindset to me. Like
Yeah.
one of my best friends, like he got his heart broke last year. He's still like, I don't know. It's just the way he looks at relationships and stuff. Like I just can't agree
It's
with
kind of
it.
tough talking to a girl that you're heartbroken. Like when I
He
talk
would
to
tell
a
me
guy,
that.
well, I mean it's great, and I'm sure you give amazing advice, but you got to pick the right kind of girl because I usually tell like relationship stuff with my guy friends because I feel more sympathy there. Like,
Well, I think we
know?
both kind of were heartbroken at the same time.
Okay.
So like we were both talking to each other about it.
were you giving advice or just hearing? Because when I talk to girls,
I would
about
just
me-
listen.
Okay.
Because I don't like to tell people how to deal with situations.
You don't
Like
give them straight advice like do this or do because guys will. They say
with
do
guys,
this or
no.
do
With my
this.
girlfriends, I do, but with my guy friends, I don't. With my girlfriends, I do to a degree. I don't always. Sometimes if they're venting, I'll just let them vent. Like I'm not gonna tell you how to handle the situation. I could tell you what I would do in the situation, but I'm not gonna tell you how to. If that makes sense.
Well, yeah, because girls are so complicated. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying.
Girls
so,
are
like,
complicated.
when I'm talking to another man, like a man feels me, but when I talk to a girl, they're just understanding about it. Like, yeah, you know, you gotta understand where she's at, where she's coming from, and her timing. They always say some shit like that, and it never feels great, you know, because it's like, no, I want to figure this shit out. Like, why is she like that? And I feel like I never get that from hearing it from a girl, but from a guy who's had maybe the same personality type set can give me some insight on that I feel I've gotten better. to some
I
of my
feel
girl
like I could
advice.
get better advice about guys from a guy to a degree, but
Right.
all guys are different, just like all girls are different.
very
So you're
different,
gonna get
yeah.
different advice from different girls.
Right.
Like in that example, like we both we both were heartbroken at the same time. Like his situation, his girl went to school, so like across the country.
So they had to break up. They didn't want to
Yeah.
go long distance.
Yeah,
That's not
basically.
that bad.
It's really not, but it's
No,
just
I mean
like
it's sad too.
It
I
is
get
sad,
it. They must
'cause-
have really liked each other and been honest and all that.
Mhm.
But that's such on the low level of breaking up. That's
But
like,
it was just like I don't know. It was weird at the time.
it's almost
It was
like
weird.
I just find it weird he's complaining to you about it rather than just crying with his girl. Like damn, I'm not gonna see you. No, you know what I mean? But I
Because
get
I think
it,
it's
get
more
it.
if she was ready to go and he wasn't.
Right. So she's like, I'm going
to school. Like, I'm about to
You
do
stay
all this new
here,
shit.
Don't come with me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
certain girls
so
be
it's just like, damn.
Well, you know what? I was dating a girl before this girl, and her best friend was going through that. And it's funny because I don't know if girls have more testosterone than guys do, but lately it's almost been looking like that because she was so down to go to New York, and he wasn't. And he was almost willing to like go out there. She's like, if you want to come out there, that's cool. But I'm going to school. Like, I'm doing my thing. Like, why are you following me? You know what I mean? And,
Okay.
But she was just
Girls,
way more down to just leave. And I noticed that now. Like, girls are more down to leave their environment, try something